me. Look, eventually, you're gonna hang up the claws, and it's gonna make a lot of people very sad. One day, your old pal Wade's gonna ask you to get back in the saddle again. When he does, say yes.
Hey, Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
Yeah, sure, Rein.
Trust me, kid, I'm no hero. You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man. Let's go. Let's go.
Deadpool and Wolverine is directed by Shawn Levy, a frequent collaborator with Ryan Reynolds. They worked together on Free Guy and the Adam Project, and this marks the first R-rated MCU film. In this movie, Deadpool's peaceful existence comes crashing down when the TVA pulls him out of his universe, leading him on a mission to reunite with Wolverine and save his world from an existential threat. The first Deadpool was a major event in the realm of comic book movies back when it came out in 2016. Back when PG-13 family-friendly movies dominated the market, Deadpool did something wildly different than any other Marvel movie at the time and embraced an R-rated narrative. If anything, I think that should be proof that the Fox X-Men franchise always had this experimental feeling to it, from its early days of setting up the modern superhero genre to prequels that expand the lore of some characters, and whatever the hell the New Mutants was trying to be.
No! I'm in charge now. Everything is gonna be okay.
Seriously, did anyone even watch that film? But of course, other than Deadpool, the main highlight of the X-Men franchise was Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. No matter what the movie was, Jackman would always give a top-tier performance, which would eventually culminate into his then final portrayal of Wolverine in Logan. The movie that did the impossible and made grown men cry.
Oh, this is what it feels like. Shit! Come here, you!
One emotionally satisfying ending, 2 flops, and a Disney buyout later, it looked like the Fox X-Men franchise was done for. That was until Ryan Reynolds suddenly announced that not only was Deadpool joining the MCU as his R-rated self, but Hugh Jackman would be coming back to play Wolverine, a team-up that fans have been craving for years. So now that Ryan's Deadpool and Hugh's Wolverine are finally sharing the screen together, what did I think of? Oh, hey, no, I thought we all agreed that wasn't canon anymore. Deadpool cleaned up the timeline. That didn't count. Alright, as I was saying, did Deadpool and Wolverine live up to the ridiculous amount of hype surrounding it? Yes. Oh, yes it did. This is by far one of the best post-Endgame MCU movies, and some of the most fun I've had watching a movie all year. Right from the first scene, this film kicks straight into high gear and remains completely exhilarating all the way to its post-credit scene. The plot always keeps moving and delivering on the blood-soaked action we've come to know and love from this series. And while we're on that subject, rest your fears, Deadpool fans, because even though this movie is directly connected to the PG-13 MCU, it does not hold back on the R rating in the slightest. And if there was any doubt about it, the opening sequence alone puts those fears to rest, as it wastes no time becoming a gore fest with a never-ending amount of F-bombs. What's really surprising about the action in this film, though, is how much Shawn Levy thrives as a director. There's so many dynamic sequences in this film where he plays around with the camera and editing. Levy has had a history of going from comedy films to more action-based movies, and I think the way he directs the action in this film shows just how far he's come as a director. Every sequence just taps into this feeling of raw excitement, as if you're flipping through the pages of one big comic book and glancing at all the chaos within. The CGI during the action sequences can get a little rough at points, but it strangely wasn't that distracting for me. I think it fits with the cartoony nature of Deadpool as a character. From an action perspective alone, this movie does not disappoint. Where I do take some issues with the film, though, is how the narrative is structured. The film does have a good sense of pacing, but after Deadpool finds out his world is in danger, there's a long stretch of the film where the movie puts that subplot aside, and now he and Wolverine have to find a way to escape this other universe, and defeat a completely different villain than the one that's established early on. And while that portion of the film is very fun, in fact it's where most of the surprise cameos show up, it is easy to forget about the personal stakes Deadpool has in this story, since there's so much focus being put on Wolverine and Deadpool trying to get out of their current situation. Again, it's a very entertaining portion of the movie, but it does take away some urgency with Deadpool trying to save his universe. However, the story has never really been the most important aspect of a Deadpool movie to me, and I'm sure to many others the most important aspect of a Deadpool movie, the one thing they can never mess up when it comes to adapting this character, is the comedy, since that's what Deadpool is widely known for. And I'm happy to report, this movie was the funniest film I've seen all year. Of course, in typical Deadpool fashion, there are a lot of fourth wall breaks, raunchy humor, and jabs at other comic book characters. And if I'm being honest, I can't think of a single one that didn't land. My theater was laughing hysterically the whole time. But with this film, there's something more special about the humor. Since the MCU is at a bit of a low point right now, in fact Deadpool himself says that in the film, so because of that, Ryan has a lot of material to work with and gets to continuously call out Marvel's inconsistent quality over the last few years, and even gets to have this big triumphant monologue that acknowledges the multiverse saga has kind of failed to build up any hype. Honestly, I was expecting them to take a few jabs at Marvel's shortcomings, but I seriously wasn't expecting them to go this far with it, but I'm glad they did. It felt strangely satisfying to hear Marvel acknowledge that they aren't as good as they used to be, and then make up for it by releasing this wildly entertaining crowd pleaser that brings the franchise back to basics. I know not everyone is a fan of Deadpool's overly meta humor, and I definitely think that area of comedy can get annoying when almost everything coming out of Hollywood is trying to be self-aware nowadays. But there's something about Ryan's humor as well as the first two Deadpool films that make it feel like it's coming from a place of sincerity. Since it's all executed with this aggressive fanboy energy, it doesn't come across as cynical. Rather, Ryan just wants to have fun with the audience, and I feel like that's why so many people have connected with this character. But that's not where the humor stops. Since this is a multiverse movie, the film plays around with the idea that Deadpool is interacting with all sorts of characters from different movies, and the chaos that would come from it. Just like No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness, there are a ton of cameos in this film that will have audience members cheering. And I think what makes them more satisfying is how a good majority are related to the X-Men and Fox universe, seeing as how Deadpool is the last part of that franchise still going. The entire film feels like one big send-off to that early era of comic book movies. The Fox universe had some low points, but this movie makes a point that they achieved so much, experimented with what comic book film could be, and laid the groundwork for the superhero movies coming out today. So getting to see all these characters we've come to know through that series get one last send-off, including some deep-cut characters that I wouldn't have even guessed were a possibility to appear in this movie, was immensely satisfying and bittersweet in a way. Now obviously Ryan and Hugh sharing the screen is the main selling point of the film, and both of them give some of the best performances they've given as their respective characters in this. You can tell the two of them are so excited to be back, and the bromance they share is on full display here. Their chemistry is off the charts throughout this entire thing. Hugh Jackman always gives 110% when playing this character, and it's no different here. But personally, I found Ryan Reynolds to be the best part of the whole movie. It's easy to tell this is the movie he's dreamed of making since Fox agreed to accurately depict this character, and he's savoring every moment where he gets to go off and drop joke after joke. Aside from those two, another standout was Emma Corrin as Cassandra Nova. I'll admit she wasn't as well written as she could have been for being the main villain, but Emma's unhinged performance makes up for it, and I ended up loving how unpredictable this character got as the movie went on. As for the returning Deadpool side characters, Leslie Uggams as Blind Al and Rob Delaney as Peter never failed to make me laugh in this film, and they play off of Ryan so well. I think they were great additions to the movie. Deadpool and Wolverine is a loving farewell to the Fox era of Marvel and a celebration of the comic book fan in all of us. By embracing the chaotic, R-rated nature of Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds and Shawn Levy managed to deliver the exhilarating, cleverly written, and hysterically funny crowd pleaser that invokes a feeling of pure fun that Marvel hasn't delivered in so long. I'll be honest, I don't think this movie will single-handedly save Marvel. I think they would need to keep a good consistent track record to do that. But this is definitely the breath of fresh air they needed right now. If you love the first two Deadpool films and haven't seen this yet, then go see this film right now. I have no doubt in my mind you'll love it. However, if you don't like the previous Deadpool films or Ryan's sense of humor that much, then I don't think this movie will do much to change your mind. Personally, I couldn't be happier with how this turned out. And I can tell it's going to be the movie event of the summer based on how my audience responded both times I watched this. Yes, I've seen this movie twice already, and both times the audience broke out in laughter and applause on numerous occasions. This is absolutely a movie that's even more fun with a large crowd. And all of this is made better by its end credits. I won't say what it is for those who haven't seen this movie yet, but if you're a fan of the Fox universe, it'll probably make you misty-eyed. I couldn't think of a better way to say goodbye to this franchise. I haven't done this in a while, but I'm going to give Deadpool and Wolverine 2 different ratings. As a critic, I give it a 9 out of 10. But out of personal enjoyment alone, it gets an easy 10 out of 10. So those were my thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine. Have you seen the film? If you did, feel free to leave your own thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. As always, if you like this review and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to the channel. That really helps me out. Remember to like the video and ring the notification bell to be notified for any upcoming reviews.